as well as highlight the best practices for this, such as innovative water conservation technologies, as well as foster a space for networking of golf courses within Lisbon and globally, as we have golf course managers from all over the world in countries such as Kenya, Germany, Spain, present in this webinar today. Before I hand over to Sarah, I would like to emphasize that for the duration of the webinar, participants are kindly requested to refrain from unmuting their microphones apart from the break, in which participants are allowed to unmute and network. All questions for the guest speakers are to be asked in the chat function of this Zoom meeting, and this Zoom meeting will be recorded just as a general reminder to everyone. So without further delay, I am pleased to hand over the floor to Sarah, who will lead us in an interactive icebreaker.
Hello, everyone, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's webinar. My name is Sara Kahri, and I had a lifelong passion for golf, beginning my journey in the sport at the age of 9. Over the years, I have immersed myself in various roles within the golf industry, from managing a golf course to serving as an assistant PGA pro. My experience extends to organizing golf trips and working hands-on as a greenkeeper, giving me a comprehensive understanding of the industry's intricacies. Furthermore, I have pursued a higher education, earning a master's degree in sustainable tourism management, with my thesis focused on the sustainability of golf and how to make golf more sustainable. Today, I'm thrilled to moderate this webinar, and without further delay, I will introduce today's agenda. First, we will have an icebreaker, and then after that, a presentation by CNIG from Nuno Sepulveda. Then we will have a question and answer session. After that, followed by the coffee and networking break, so you can join in a different breakout rooms and discuss the topics. After that, we will have a sustainable case study presented by Costa Navarino, Nuno Morgado, followed by question and answer session again. And last but not least, we have the presentation by Geo Foundation, Dr. Robbie Fitzpatrick, and followed by the question and answer session. Now, let's go to the icebreaker, and you may participate in the quiz by scanning the QR code and clicking the link in the chat. You will have 3 minutes to answer 4 questions, and I hope everyone will participate to the questions, and we will go through the answers later. This will be anonymous, so your answers will not show up. They will just go to the total answers. Few more minutes to answer the questions, and then we will go through the answers. Okay, perfect. So the first question that we had in the questionnaire, how many golf courses are there worldwide? So the correct answer was around 38,000. The next question, how many geo-certified golf courses are there globally? And the correct answer is more than 1,000. The third question, what was the percentage of clean water consumed by golf courses in Lisbon? And the right answer in 10%. And then there has been a survey made by the golf business in 2012. And they asked what is the percentage of people that want golf courses to be more sustainable. And the answer was more than 90%. This is also according to my research that I've done previously. And we had more than 72% of the people considering that sustainability of golf courses is important. Next, we'll move on forward to the presentation by CNIG and Nuno Sepulveda. The stage is yours.
Hello, Sarah. Thank you very much. Well, thank you everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to speak about golf, and not so much of a pleasure, but a responsibility to speak about water, and obviously in sustainability. And I was looking at some of the people already on this forum. To be honest, I don't feel like I'm the most eligible guy to be speaking about these matters. I can see a lot of colleagues here that could be much more useful for me. So let me give you a little bit of my background, what I'm doing here. So I'm an agronomist. I started as a greenkeeper. I worked on the construction, maintenance, and golf courses. Then I moved a little bit more into the management side of it. And we are currently, so I'm representing the CNIG, which is the kind of it's an association of the owners of golf courses, okay, and the industry of golf courses. And obviously, sustainability, water, it's a concern of the industry, it's a concern of the golf courses, it's a concern of everybody that works on it, okay? So please feel free to put questions or anything, because I'll try not to be very boring, and I will speed up a little bit. So if you could put the presentation on, Sarah, please. I appreciate it. Thank you. Can you move up? So if you just in a little bit in context with Portugal, we have nearly 70 golf courses around Portugal. Can we keep pushing? I cannot control it here. So hold on. So just the CNIG represents the majority of the golf courses in Portugal, and tries to create a relationship between all the important and relevant institutions within Portugal to promote, to protect, and to enhance golf, right? And this goes across the tourism the department, conservation department, environmental departments, agriculture departments, tourism. So all resorts, associations. So we try to work with Portuguese Federation. We try to work all the national bodies and non-national bodies. Greenkeepers Association, of course, very important. We try to work with everybody to come up with the best solutions, the best concerns, and to create awareness for the major issues. If you could go forward, please. So we do believe that golf is a very big industry in Portugal and around the globe. But let's talk about Portugal today. And it's considered. We believe that it reaches more than 2 billion euros worth of impact on our economy. And this number can go higher. And you need to understand that the golf business is not just golf business; it's also golf business. Golf is just a little part of the business when you look at it overall in Portugal. Usually, as a rule of thumb, it's a third of what we sell, because usually when we sell golf, we sell a room night, a stay, a dinner, a lunch, breakfast, a rent-a-car, a flight. So all this RevPOR, accumulated throughout the business, we usually get a third. Golf is responsible for a third. So a room for two persons that travel to Portugal to play golf is 2 golfers, 2 golf rounds, 1 buggy, 2 breakfasts, 2 dinners, 2 lunches, rent a car. I mean, that's a lot that impacts. And then that potential client is a potential client for real estate to come back again with their holidays, for their kids or their family, right? So golf is a big industry, And it's not just the green fee, which is very important we keep all of this in mind, please. So this is we basically now we back to numbers from post-COVID. So golf rounds wise, we are back to normality, I would say. And we have nearly 2 million golf rounds, around 2 million golf rounds, sometimes a little bit more above. And these golf rounds are, we still have capacity, installed capacity to grow these numbers. And I suppose more will come, more will grow as seasons are changing a little bit. Typically the golf business used to be very active in April, March, and October. And you can see business growing into off season, to November, to Jan, to February, even to summer months. Okay, so I think there's a big growth to grow, a big room to grow on the golf business. Please. Obviously, the big part of the golf business is in Algarve. Not that it makes it the most important, but it's just there's a big percentage of the golf courses in Algarve, which at some point further down our conversation will explain why the difficulties with the water management we've been having more in the Algarve than the rest of Portugal. But the majority of the golf courses, are more than half of the golf courses in Portugal, are in Algarve, based in Algarve. Okay. So again, this is going back to the impact of the business in golf, that a lot of it in Algarve. Just one thing that we need to understand: that there's a whole industry that's a lot of leverage on the golf, and it's not considered golf many times. So hotels in the Algarve, for instance, which is a very seasonal place, originally 30 years ago used to be based on sea and sun. Golf it came to help to break that seasonality. And if it wasn't for golf, half of the hotels would not be open in January or February or November, for that matter. So, and all the industry, all the restaurants around, all the rent cars, site guides. So there's a lot of things that work around the perimeter of golf. They are not golf, but they need golf too, because it operates on the specific times of the year that nothing else exists on these areas. So very important for the local communities. Okay. Yeah, so now you can move. So basically now the oldest golf course in Portugal is around 50 years old. A lot of the golf courses average the 25 years old right now. So so the sustainability, the water management is back to the table again, because a lot of the golf courses need to be updated. Okay, so there's an age of 50 years old right now. Please. So this what starts the water thing. Okay, let me I will not get very deep on this, actually, because I don't have much knowledge. I'm not we understand that there's a common knowledge myth that golf uses a lot of water, and that golf it's a potential cause for a lot of the water shortage in some areas. So first of all, we need to understand that there's not lack of water in Portugal. It's the distribution of the water in Portugal. It's the main problem. If you go from the river Tejo up, so let's say from Alentejo up in Portugal, all the dams, all the water lines, all the rivers are full. There's a lot of water everywhere, but it's just not connected with the Algarve in particular. So I'll focus a little bit our conversation here in the Algarve, because that's the part of Portugal that's been struggling the most with lack of water. Not because we're spending a lot of water, it's because there's no water. Okay, so it's not been raining as much as it used to rain before. That's a fact, and the capacity of storage, it's pretty much non-existent. And so we are realizing that the last 3 years we're struggling a little bit with water. When it comes to the water in the golf courses, and this is based from APA, we didn't come up with a number. This is official number. The water users in Portugal, golf course, or in Algarve, sorry, we use 6% of the water. I don't know how to explain it better than 6%. I think 6% is a very self-explanatory number of the amount of water it's used in Algarve in golf courses. So the problems of water in Algarve is nothing to do with golf. I don't believe it. And to be honest, I do believe that golf is one of the industries been managing the water the best, because A lot of the water is used on specific areas like such screens, which are, we have, sensors, monitors, weather stations. The technology around the Gulf to manage the water, it's been very, very updated along the years. So 6% is the water used in Portugal for golf courses in Algarve. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. So one thing, it's not a myth. It's the weather has been changing. Okay. It's the water problem was never an issue until 3 years ago in Portugal. 40 years. It was always an issue, but it was never spoken because there was always enough water storage. If some of the dams in Portugal are in the Algarve in particular are below, the usage level. So that's why there's a lot of lack of water currently. And having no water, we need to start looking to different sources of water. Okay, thank you. Obviously, we need the water in summer. It's the normal concept. A normal golf course, a regular 18-hole golf course, uses about 770,000 cubic meters, and uses on a very specific time of the year, from May to September. That's what uses the need of the water happens. Please. So the average golf course in the Algarve is 37 hectares, and the majority, all the golf courses in Portugal, in the Algarve in particular, are using warm season grasses, C4. Those grasses use a lot less water than any other grasses, the typical grass you see on your lawns, on your gardens. So it's grasses that are already specific for the very minimum use of water and keep still big playability. Please. So golf has been a little bit ahead of time when it comes to water management. We've been managing water for a long time, and well done, with sensors, with weather stations. We don't irrigate at the liter. We irrigate by millimeters. Okay, so it's on a very small detail right now. For instance, back in 1998, Vila Moura was already certified 14001, the ISO. So this was a long time ago, way before water was an issue or sustainability became a trend. In some places, in some golf courses, it was already, developing concerns and strategies to become, what is now a trend. It was a concern back then already. Okay, please. So to use better water, you have a sustainable approach for golf courses and sustainable construction for golf courses. You cannot build golf courses with the same area of grass we used to build in the past. You cannot use the same grasses used in the past. A lot of the genetic works in some of the grasses are there to use less water or to use less quality water. So that's two things. One is to use less water. Second thing, to use less area. And thirdly, to have grasses that can cope with quality of water that they have no other use than being let go to the ocean, and golf courses can use it, such as treated water. Please. Sustainable golf course has been focused, in water resources again. Some of the products, lakes management, use the right landscape, use the right species, and a lot of educational, a lot of explaining that the concerns and what can we do to change it. Please. Water treated, it's been a reality for a long time now, but it's just not being used. So there is some grasses can cope with treated water, some grasses cannot cope with treated water, and so golf courses are facing some difficulties now to use can they reconvert the golf courses into a grass that can actually use treated water? Is this treated water going to be available for those species afterwards? So for the last 2 years, 3 years, but mainly, more heavily in the last 2 years, there's been a lot of discussion because there's a lack of water in the Algarve, A. Secondly, the water available has high levels of salt, and how to go about it, because either we go for a grass that can cope with the salt, or you can have a grass that can cope with treated waters, or you can have both. Are those treated water stations, which are governmental facilities, available for the use? Okay, and this is important as well. Please. This goes without saying, this has been a reality in our industry for a long time. Rain sensors, soil moistures, weather station, all this has been happening for almost 15 years, almost 20 years. And every superintendent in the golf business now knows that water is, we knew this from a long time ago, and we've been reducing the grassing areas, we've been using the right grasses, we've been using the right tools to maintain the same grass with the same quality or higher quality, but with less water or less quality water. Please. Lake management is, sorry. So there's a lot of products we can use to preventive, grasses, diseases, pest controls, and all this will be tied in with the reality. Can you put another one, please? Another slide. Another one, please. Sorry, I'll come back to these ones as well. So environmental education, it's a very important point of our industry, and the CNIG has been trying to do this, Portuguese Federation, universities, schools like yourselves, Golf Federation, Greenkeep Association. We've been really trying to understand, I think everybody knows at this point from early age understands that, environmental education, it's the key. It's not mandatory, it's just born with people now. So people are very aware, clients are very aware of this situation. When you're breaking ice, or many people want to have more sustainable golf course, the majority of people want to have a more sustainable golf course. Question is, are people willing to pay more for a sustainable golf course? I believe they are. So there's a whole environment, to start changing things and to improve things that, can always be done better. Okay, please. Building something sustainable, it's key on golf course architecture, buildings architecture, because it's how you irrigate the golf course. It's how you're going to get the water from. It's where you're going to storage the water. It's how you're going to manage it. It's how you're going to reuse it again through drainage systems into the lakes. How you're going to maintain those lakes, and how do you have the education and the know-how to address some of the new waters, because the water we are using now, or that we're going to be using soon, it's a different water, and will react differently on grasses. So grasses will have to have definitely a different management. Are we prepared for this? Our university is teaching, an agronomy that it doesn't take always granted as clean and perfect water. It's a water that's far from perfect, in many cases. It's, can you fight the smell? Can you fight the agronomy? Can you fight all those new grasses, new waters that are available, or we wish would be available? Please. I mean, this is just a small example of, this is a machine here called DryJet. It's new technologies such as zeolites, profile. It's soil amendments you can put on a soil construction, on soil maintenance, which holds 10 times the capacity in water. So we would not lose the water through drainage, through evapotranspiration, but we'll be able to hold some of the water on a root zone. Are we considering this? Are we testing this? Are we comfortable with this? Do we have enough education about it? So together with the sensors, together with the weather stations, together with the local monitorization of the water. So all this water management, it has a different ball game currently. Please. So when it comes to treated water, it's been a long discussion, and golf courses are ready to use treated water. We want to use with treated water. Are the stations ready to supply us? Okay, that's the big question. Can we connect with them? Are those stations have the minimum quality of the water to be used? So many golf courses are already ready to connect with the local infrastructures from treated water, but only if you are using it correctly now or effectively. Please. See, again, this is the evolution of using of the use of treated water. Obviously, a few more are using it now. We have a few cases in west side of Algarve, on the east side of Algarve, not so much. So we are ready to use all the water from treated station. And the funny thing about treating the water is you treat water from public usage, which in the Algarve, fair enough, funny enough, it's in June, July, and August, which we have more people coming for holidays. So we have a bigger availability of water to be treated, and that's when the golf courses actually need more water. So there's almost like a perfect life cycle here. The question is, the point that we've been trying to help the local organizations, and we need to help ourselves, is we need to connect very quickly with these treated water stations, please. Just going back to sometimes there's a bit of a sorry. One of the things that golf courses faces difficulties sometimes is some bureaucratic nonsense, which is difficult to understand. We all know that certain grasses are more, are specifically more used for either salt water contents or treated contents, like paspalum. Paspalum currently in Portugal is not allowed to be used. And there's many organizations trying to put the grass back into use in Portugal, but so we want to use treated water, we want to use salty water, but we need to use it with the right grasses, and the right grasses are not being allowed currently. So there's a bit of a catch-21 here. So CNIC is just part of the one little part of the whole process that is trying to help the industry and trying to make it more sustainable, trying to be foreseen. I understand we are missing in some eco marketing on the golf industry, and we don't communicate well enough that we only use 6% of the water in the Algarve, and we are good to use any water that it's available if you have the right grasses, if you have the right connectivity with the water stations. So there's many things the golf industry is good to go, ready to go, but for some reason things are not really there yet. But I think in the next 1-2 years should be a very different reality. Obviously, many of the golf courses in Portugal are geo-certified, are biosphere certified. There are many certifications that a lot of the golf courses do it. Some of them they're not even certified, but they could be certified. They could be eligible because they do a good job. So this is a little bit of my 50 cents for the talk today, and happy to answer any questions. But there's a lot of people here on I can see the names here that are very, very great professionals handling bad water, lack of water, salty water. So I'm sure there's a lot of people can pitch in with some insights that are very interesting for our industry. But our industry is ready to be environmental sustainable. We are environmental sustainable. Sometimes we are not more because we are not allowed. And CNIC is here to help to facilitate some of the pending issues that need to be addressed. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free. But it's a pleasure to be here today, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nuno. It was a great presentation. I actually have here a few questions that came to you. First of all, there was a question: what role does CNIG play in educating golf course managers and staff about climate change mitigation and adaptation strategies?
Sorry, can you repeat it again? Sorry.
Yes. What role does CNIG play in educating golf course managers and staff about climate change mitigation and adaptation strategies?
To be honest, there are other organizations that are much stronger on that field, and I would say Golf Course Greenkeepers Association, Golf Directors Associations, in local agronomy and universities, they're doing a real big play on this. Greenkeepers Association in particular, they hold high standards on it, train a lot of people, but CNIC just tries to put all the parts together as well.
Thank you. Another one from Jeffrey Sampson. How engaged and aware is the Portuguese government on water conservation issues such as those discussed today? And does success depend on support from the government?
Well, I don't want to be I'm not very good at politics, okay? And when it comes to politics, we never have great things to say. I tell you what, if the government will fix all the water leakage on all the connectivities around the country, all the potable water that has been connected from A to B, B to C, if we fix all the leakages that we've been having, there was plenty of water. Okay, more than there's an estimation between 30 to 50% of water has been lost through old pipes, old connectivities, leaks. So yes, I think the government is aware of this. I don't think people realized 4 years ago that we are just 5 years away from not having water. I don't think everybody ever considered that not having water was a problem for our days. Okay, and so I think the government has a big play here to fix a lot of this. Maybe to connect some of the water from the center of Portugal to the south of Portugal as well, just to balance some of the water. And I think the government is aware. It just came late, a little bit late on the to fix the problem. It's fixing it. It's working on it. Came late, and so there's a lot of catch up here to do. And obviously, there's a lot of support through European community funds. So the timing is good. So there's a pressure from the weather because there's the topic is hot. The government understands it needs to do a lot, and there's some money available to actually fix it. So we're going to struggle the next 2 years, but I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel very soon.
Thank you. So I conclude that the government is aware and trying to is engaging in the problem as well.
Correct.
Correct. I have another question here. As Lisbon is a coastal city, are there any efforts that are being made to utilize desalination of seawater for use on golf courses to reduce the usage of fresh water and bring down that 10% of Lisbon's freshwater usage allocation to golf courses?
Well, fresh water, it's not something we use on a golf course. It's not normal, okay?
No, the seawater.
Sorry. Okay. So
desalination of the seawater.
Yeah. Okay. So this to use the seawater is new technology as well. Okay, it's been broadly used, in many other countries. We're just breaking ground on it. Okay, so the government has a plan for some big major desalination stations. Again, great idea. Just late again, so we're not going to have them for today ready. But you cannot fix the problem just with one thing. You need to sort out the leakage, sort out the usage, sort out the treated stations, sort out the legalization of because even if you want to build your own desalination station on your resort, or you still need permits. It's not like you just can do it by yourself. The government needs to give those approvals. You need to prove that you are eligible for it. So it's not so easy. So again, the government is aware of this, is making the first steps, just a little bit too late, and we'll catch up in the next 2-3 years. But yes, it's big awareness of it, and there's going to be a solution. Regarding the leakages, there's an active participation of the government to try to get rid of the leakages at the moment, right? Correct. No, a lot of municipalities doing a great job. Because they all know there was never a problem because it was too much water, and now that we don't have the water, people knows where to get them, and a lot of municipalities have been doing a great job fixing some of their connectivities, but a long way to go. Perfect. All right, we have more questions here. There is a question: are there projections or forecasts for how climate change will further impact water availability for irrigation in golf courses in the Algarve region? Well, I'm not an expert. I'm sure there's a lot of people here more experts than me, but I can say that what's ahead of us is not going to be any better. Okay, so that's so the forecast, it's not good. Okay, that's we all understand this is going to be more difficult, less water, the quality was going to be weaker. So we have to create more storage. We have to transport water where there's extra water to the right water. So, just for us to have an idea, the Agriculture Association CAP estimates that only 11% of the water that falls in Portugal, it's hauled in Portugal, meaning 90% of the water, it just runs off, disappears into the ocean, into the rivers, into elsewhere. We need to hold some of this water, and we need to hold them on the right places and connect between places that have more with less. So the forecast is not great, but I think the problem is not. It is big, of course it is, but it can be addressed because you need to hold more water in Portugal. You cannot let it go into the ocean because that water comes for free. It comes at good quality, and but we need to hold it when it comes a lot. So when the summer is here, we have it available.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Last question before we will move out to the coffee break. We have here Paulo Perego telling, hi Nuno, I'm also a golf player and I find the 6.4% of water usage in the Algarve high. What is the risk for the golf industry if the harshest predictions on drought and water scarcity predicted for the next decades in Portugal are true? Few people play golf and water is a basic necessity. What is the relationship between a golfer's water use and a normal citizen's use for living?
I'll say the golf industry in the Algarve, it wants to use the water that nobody wants. It's called recycled water. We're just going to use the water. It comes from the showers. It comes from the restaurants. It comes from treated stations. Will use recycled water that's going to be left into the ocean. Golf industry is happy to live with their water. So even though 6% of the water will be used, it could be the water, whatever the water is available. And this is the water that nobody else wants it for anything, not even to wash your car or to your pool. It's water that it's been let go into the ocean for free. So golf industry will survive very well in the next couple of years with the lack of water because we take the water because the engineering, the technology of grasses, the level of expertise of the greenkeeping, the engineering behind, they've been developing grasses that can cope more and more with tough conditions, tough water, bad quality of water, very, very little water. So to be honest, I'm not really concerned with the future of golf with the water. I'm more concerned with other areas of the business of Portugal. To be honest, can they adapt as well as we did in golf? We're good to go. We can use the most salty water that nobody wants for anything else. The golf course can use it if we adapt the right grasses. If we are allowed to use the right grasses, we can use the worst water from a usage of a restaurant, hotel, of a house. We can treat it to be used to the golf course. So from that sense, I must say, I think we have not a bright future. I cannot say that, but the water that nobody wants, we'll take it and we'll survive well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nuno. We will end the CNIG session here and the question and answer. We will go to the coffee break. We will be divided also to the break rooms. So in case you want to engage in a conversation in the break rooms, you're free to do so or go have a break.
Thank you.
Perfect. I got stuck, muted there for a minute. Welcome back from the coffee break. We were discussing, I managed to get to 2 of the rooms. I hope the 3rd room also got interesting conversation. We're going to continue now forward, and we're going to have a presentation from Costa Navarino, Nuno Morgado, who will present the Costa Navarino resort for us. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for the invitation. Just to speak a little bit about myself, I'm Director of Agronomy in Costa Navarino. I've been here for 6 years, and I've been working in the Gulf maintenance industry for around 20 years. So I've been working around, like I was saying in the other room in the coffee break, mainly around the Mediterranean region in different countries, from Cyprus, south of France, Portugal, and now Greece. So facing on the daily basis what is the problems of the lack of water and the water management. Can you please pass, please? So basically, I mean, I'm going to give a brief introduction of Costa Navarino, talk a little bit about the importance of the infrastructure, also the maintenance, what some innovations we can, you know, we can do to help in the water sustainability. You know, a touch on the certification that we are continue to work on. So that's the purpose of the presentation. So, you know, since 2016, Costa Navarino endorsed the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, which is the main framework for the formulation of the company's sustainability strategy. So overall, that means that Costa Navarino has always been committed to work on the sustainability of the resort and the future development of the result. You know, minimizing the impacts in the environment, and obviously the reduction, the inputs, the water use, and everything that has to do with the environment. Can pass, please? So in terms of infrastructure, Costa Navarino has made a huge investment in the creation of 3 major reservoirs they have the capacity of over 1 million cubic meters that store, you know, the river water, and that water that is captured was going to the sea, so which would be completely lost. So which was made in the way not to disturb the, you know, the underground water storage capabilities that the region could have. So the captation is really done in the end of the last point. Yeah, you can pass. Thank you. Also, in terms of infrastructure, like Nuno, the other Nuno was saying, it's important to understand also that the design of the golf courses is now more towards the sustainability and the reduction of irrigated areas. So especially the last 3 golf courses, they were really below 20% than normal areas on the resort golf courses. Which has obviously in the end a great impact in the amount of water that will be used. You can pass, please. Of course, after the construction, you know, one of the most important things that Costa Navarino has been investing is in the irrigation itself, the infrastructure for irrigation, which means that invest in the great capacity of the pump stations, with the use of irrigation management hardware and software on the irrigation systems, and the control of the water reservoirs. In the end, the most important thing to say is that the use of all these infrastructures is the art for the control of the water usage, because basically we control everything that has been used, that has a tremendous cost for us, not only environmental but also economically, with the amount of the pump capacity that is needed to pump the water. Also, in terms of infrastructure, despite the design, like I explained, Costa Navarino has continued to work and to adapt and to adjust the golf courses, so to reduce the irrigation areas where possible, without obviously, affecting the playability of the golf courses, but where it can be done. So with the introduction of non-irrigated areas, integration of native plants, recycling wood from the olive trees, pruning, we had already the capacity to reduce 10% on the dunes and 5% on the bay, but is a ongoing work, and that's the one of the main things in Costa Navarino since I'm here. It's a continuous work that we keep on improving and trying to adjust and reduce the water usage. In terms of maintenance, Nuno touched, being also an agronomist, he touched some of the things that a lot of the golf courses do. But I would say, very important, to increase also the staff numbers for the management of irrigation has been one of the keys to better performance, because we can follow up, on the system on a daily basis, which gives us, basically just more control of the water that is being used. Since I'm here in Costa Navarino, and one of the things that I did in all the golf courses where I passed, which is one of the key points, was a creation of irrigation water annual budget, which gives us always a guideline and a target to work on, that we can follow up. Obviously, this is being followed by daily with the monitoring of the irrigation water consumption. That makes us, control the leaks in the system or over watering that we are spending. We know exactly how much water we should spend per day, and this gives us, obviously a better control and management of the total water. Like Nuno was saying, the golf courses are long time used to follow up on all the water consumption, also on meteorological data, using of moisture sensors to evaluate the moisture in the soil, and make the irrigation decision so we don't overwater. Also, in terms of maintenance, the evaluation of the sprinklers performance, that in the end is the last point of contact for the water distribution. It's very important, and we do this at least throughout the season, every 2 months, to continue to see the irrigation performance at its best. Also, another important point that I mentioned here is also the correction of the water quality. That is very important in the end for the better use of the water we have. So the better water quality we can have, the less water we will use, because he has less impact on the grass. Also, I mean, integrated in the maintenance, it's funny also to say that sometimes people don't think, but the amount of water also passes for the correct maintenance practices, especially cultural operations, but also fertilizing, so we can have the grass in the best performance, the best health, so you can use less water. Sorry, and that's what we do. Also, I just put a picture here of this year. One of the process that Costa Navarino has been working on in the last 2 years is that to try to reduce the areas of overseeding, which was a practice that was done from the beginning, but that we try to avoid, to further reduce the water consumption. Last year we managed to reduce another 10% in the water consumption, and we are still working on this process to better use the Bermuda grass in a better condition without the need of the overseeding. In terms of innovation, I just put one of the things that the Costa Navarino myself is working on, which is one system that I believe it will be one of the systems in the future for golf courses. And so basically Costa Navarino is always testing new solutions for improvement on the management of irrigation. And one of these ideas for this year is to use the turf rod system, which is based in really space technology from the European Space Agency and from the NASA, that can gives us maps of the water content in the soil until 10 centimeters, and which obviously can give us that connected to a machine that we can use every day or every week to gives us the status of the moisture in the soil, and that can help us on the irrigation decision making. So it's something that I'm sure is not very common in Europe. It starts to be used in the United States. Around 20 golf courses they are using this system, and I believe it's one of the systems that will be in the future of golf courses. Yes, please. Can you just go back one, please? Thank you. Just to finalize, in terms of which will be an innovation, I put it here as an innovation, but like Nuno was saying, that is going to happen in the Algarve. It will also happen in Greece and in Costa Navarino, which it's already used in a small scale, which is the water from the sewage treatment plant. Basically, all the water that is produced inside the resort is used for golf courses. And like Nuno was saying, the golf course can live very well with the water that nobody wants. And the future of Costa Navarino will pass through that as well, which is going to be the use of the water from the village around the resort that will be then treated and reused for the golf course irrigation in the future. Just to mention a little bit of our certification of Costa Navarino that I was mentioning in the room, we start working on towards the certification since 2019, which has been part of a concern. We get the certification in 2023, but we have been working in all the process and the continuous efforts to get the certification in Costa Navarino, which was a landmark for the golf courses in Greece, and of course very important for Costa Navarino, which basically just shows the commitment to Costa Navarino to the environment, and in being one of the most important parts, the saving of water as a very important part of the golf course. So in summary, has been always part of the Costa Navarino philosophy to be an integrated resort with respect to the natural environment, being, saving water part of the identity as a resort. Huge investments have been made since the construction and throughout the process of the development of the resorts, and that will continue to be made, and has been always part of the golf course maintenance team strategy to work daily, effortlessly in having the best results with less inputs. And of course, overall, the economic plan that is made was always taking in consideration water savings. The future will be, driven by more data in respect of water savings and in everything else that happens in golf maintenance. So Costa Navarino is fully committed to work on that, and we will continue to do so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nuno, for the great presentation. We're going to move on to the questions, and I have already received a few here. Yes, I will go for them. What motivated Costa Navarino to prioritize sustainability in its operations and development?
Well, basically was the concern of always making a resort that will integrate nature, will integrate the environment, and the people around was part of the Costa Navarino story to do that. So it's really part of the philosophy from day one.
Perfect. I have actually a continuous question to this. How do you communicate to the public that you are working towards the sustainability and that you are geo-certified?
Well, basically there are, let's say the marketing department of Costa Navarino makes that through newsletters to the local community, or of course he uses also the online sources that have through the website or other platforms. That's how we communicate, but communicate also a lot with because there are to the local community, there are the local communication boards that they use also to communicate what is done in Costa Navarino.
Do you have a great participation from the local community playing on your golf course?
Not playing, not really. We have an impact, especially for the academy, which is because we promote the development of go through the junior academy, and that we invite young children from the local schools to be part of. And it's has been a program since the beginning, but that now it's around 30 children, so which helps the local community to be more understanding towards the golf, to understand the game towards through their children in the end, so they get more connected to what is golf and what golf has to offer.
Perfect, thank you. I have a question here from Miklos Breitner. Which moisture sensors do you use at the moment?
Well, at the moment we use the TDRs from Soil Scout, which are portable ones. We use them in all golf courses. So I'm not very fond of the fixed systems that there is in the market. I'll prefer to monitor the soil moisture through the portable moisture sensors.
Mm-hmm. What about you mentioned about the wetting agents. The wetting agents, there has been lately a lot of research on the bio-based and organic wetting agents. What kind of wetting agents are in use in your golf courses? Well,
for now we are using, well, I don't want to mention the brands, but yes, we have been working with different wetting agents, towards the result and of course the financial aspect of it. I think what is important to say is that not many golf courses use wetting agents wall to wall, like Costa Navarino, meaning that we spray wetting agents in all the areas of grass, so which really can save around maybe around 10% of water at least. So these are the numbers that I came up since the beginning with my work in Cyprus, not only in Costa Navarino, where the water scarcity was even higher.
Perfect. We have here a question. What challenges has Costa Navarino encountered in its sustainability journey and how they have been addressed by Victoria North?
Yes, I would say, well, obviously speaking about water it's one of them, one of the sustainability issues, being the reduction of rain will create new challenges. The use of the treated water, it's going to be probably one of the new ones, and Costa Navarino already start to work on probably the grass change to adapt to the more amount of treated water. So that's definitely one of the challenges. I would say another one has been about the recycling, trying to get the system and the companies who work around Costa Navarino and with Costa Navarino, because it's a very remote place. So I think that is probably one of the greatest challenges as well.
This is kind of related. The next questions, if you have specific partnerships or collaborations with the local communities and organizations to enhance the sustainability.
Yeah, we have some local organizations, for example, on the protection of the sea turtle. It's called Careta Careta. You know, it's part of the work that does together with Costa Navarino in the protection for the nests that happen on the beach, not only in the resort beach where it is located, but also on the other beaches around the resort, for example. Yeah.
Great. We also had here a question to explain a little bit more the space technology. More in detail, if you can explain it, and you can access new images daily, and what kind of information can you obtain from it?
Well, basically the technology was adapted for, like I said, I didn't want to go too much in detail, but was adapted from the European Station Agency and NASA, that were using satellite images through satellites to know about the moisture on and salinity levels on Earth. Obviously, they use the same technology, and they adapted to a smaller sensor that goes on the equipment, and on equipment that will show us the moisture content in the soil until 10 centimeters depth. This will basically, we adapt this to the mowers, for example, and once we use the mowers to cut the grass, it will give us a map of the moisture content in the soil. So this will give us like I said, the map of where we can then adjust irrigation accordingly. Obviously, how much we can use this system depends how much you're gonna cut. Normally, this is used for fairways, which are the bigger areas, but they can be used for roughs as well, for example. But normally, the systems that I've seen are using on fairways. So, for example, here we cut the fairways 3 to 4 times a week. So we can have data every other day, basically, which is really really important and completely different than other systems like with drones or even satellite imagery or other systems that exist in the market.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your answers, Nuno Mercado. We will move
welcome.
on forward now to Geo Foundation, and the presenter will be Dr. Robbie Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone, for having me today. Yeah, I'm Dr. Robbie Fitzpatrick. Just a really brief background on myself. I basically done a undergraduate and master's in environmental economics. I then took a PhD at the University of St Andrews. That was fully funded and co-developed with the R&A, who are the governing body for golf outside the US and Mexico. And I've really explored ways for golf facilities to reduce energy waste and water consumption, and then how those golf facilities can start to embrace and adopt that technology at scale. And then I moved into GEO about a year and a half ago, and I work on the certification program and various other bits and pieces of research and innovation across the foundation and the golf industry as a whole. So if you just, so we're essentially GEO Foundation. If you just skip on one more slide, please. Brilliant, thank you. So we are GEO Foundation. We're an international non-profit, and we're really here to support sustainability and climate action, both in the golf industry and through the golf industry. So really using golf as a vehicle to encourage wider societal change as well. We really work collaboratively with people think organisations and people across the golf industry to really improve the resilience and the reputation of the game and the industry and all the industries that go around golf. We're a kind of small team, there's about 18 of us, and we work across golf. We're really mostly known for our certification programme, but we also do a lot of other things like sustainability strategy. We've got software solutions, we do a lot of government relations, we do communications, outreach, marketing, all sorts of stuff around the sustainability landscape to help and support golf facilities. And those programmes, tools and partnerships are delivered across golf from the very top, like the R&A, right the way down to grassroots golf facilities. So we've got a lot of kind of strategic partnerships. We do a lot of advocacy, sustainability strategy, and then also that kind of certification programme that sits at the heart of everything we do. We essentially like to see ourselves as a caddy. We're not playing the game. The greenkeepers, the golf course managers, the owners, you're all the ones that are out there making a positive contribution to the world. And we at GEO are really here to support you on your sustainability journey. As I said, we're a non-profit. We're not in it for money. We're really here to help and grow the game of golf and make sure that it's as sustainable as possible so that it can benefit more and more generations to come. So I'll touch a wee bit just on sustainability trends. Both Nunos have already kind of touched on these things. If you can just skip on to the next slide. So I'm sure we all know that golf is facing a number of challenges, extreme weather, climate change. That relates to costs and availability of key resources needed to manage golf courses. Governments becoming more and more stringent with regulations and policies. As was mentioned, there's rising consumer expectations. There's more emphasis on organic products, sustainably sourced products. The communities that you live in, there's more attention on golf courses. What are you doing around water? What are you doing around nature? And also just the general public perception of the game as a whole. There's more and more attention there. If you just skip on. But what we kind of like to flip that narrative on its head. We talk a lot about changing climate change into climate action and turning challenges into opportunities. So there's a lot of business benefits to sustainability. When you're using less resources, you're making cost savings, you're making wise investments. As I'll touch on in a bit, our programs that we offer, we're able to have government relations, which supports fairer regulation and ensures that regulation is coming in at the right times and it's not too soon for the golf industry to be able to adapt. When you're making sustainable changes, you're ensuring that golf courses are more resilient, they're more valued and supported. And there's a lot of marketing benefits in that. We're seeing more ecotourism and green tourism. So when you're engaging in sustainability, you're able to market that value. And as I said, consumer expectations are changing and they're wanting more and more of these green, eco-conscious products and services, and golf courses fit into that bracket. And I'm sure as Nuno will know that when you're doing these kind of certifications or you're working on sustainability initiatives, it's a great way to bring people together across the golf facility. It's a great way to teamwork and kind of build a positive attitude within and across your golf club. So essentially, life on Earth, we're at a kind of tipping point. We're all on a sustainability transition. We're trying to make the world more sustainable, but also more healthy, more enjoyable. So we're all in this journey together, and golf is no different. And as David Attenborough said, what we do over the next 50 years will determine the fate of all life on the planet. And golf, as a green space, a financially viable green space, that delivers recreation, health and well-being benefits for all ages and all backgrounds, has a very important role to play in that transition. So what do we do at GEO? If you just skip on to the next slide. Sustainability is a big word, and there's lots of different factors to it. And as we're talking about water today, but sometimes when you say sustainability to a non-expert, it gets a bit too much. There's too much going on there. So we at GEO, if you just skip on to the next slide, we try to make it as simple as possible for golf to understand and embrace and take positive action on sustainability. So we essentially broke it down into 4 key areas that golf as an industry should be focusing on. and that's fostering nature, conserving resources, strengthening community, and taking climate action. You just skip on. I'll just briefly touch on what kind of sits within these different areas. So fostering nature really relates to habitat and biodiversity, integrated or sustainable turfgrass management, which involves all the greenkeeping, and then pollution prevention, just making sure that we're using responsible products and things like that. Under resources, there's kind of 3 key areas, which would be energy, water, and materials. So again, energy, water, we're looking to source that sustainably. We're looking to transition to renewable sources, which both Nuno's have talked about, using effluent water or rainwater harvesting and that sort of thing. And then materials, again, making sure that we're preferring recycled or reusable products, and also trying to minimise our consumption. And then across all of that is that community outreach. So really looking at, when we're making these changes to benefit the environment, how can we also make golf more appealing, more attractive, more healthy, and so that it can continue to deliver the various benefits that the game does for communities. And then again, something that kind of cuts across all of those areas is carbon. That's the kind of trendy, the trend at the moment across sustainability is kind of carbon footprinting, climate positive, net positive, and all these kind of buzzwords. So while we're doing that, we're looking to reduce emissions, increase our sequestration through the habitat areas in our golf facility. And also, if we're producing emissions that we can't sequester, can we credibly mitigate them through other programs and things that are on offer? So we at GEO, to help golf take action on these different priority areas, we've got a number of programs and tools that will help, and this is what my presentation is really going to focus on here. So we mainly use online systems. We've got our on-course program, which allows golf facilities to record their key data, to then get sustainability scorecards and carbon footprints. You can then generate group or themed reports, and then that allows you to work towards the recognition that you deserve. And that's a really important aspect of all of this. Golf needs to shout about everything that it's doing sustainably. Again, there's a perception problem from people external to golf looking in on golf. So it's really important to shout about what you're doing, to fully understand the impacts that you're having, and then to communicate that in a credible way. And that's what we essentially do at GEO. And I'll just go through that program with you just now. So we have what's called a kind of sustainability journey or a sustainability pathway. The first step on that pathway is just showing that you're committed, showing that you're aware of sustainability and that you're committed to doing everything you can. We have a Sustainable Golf Pledge. It's totally free. You can scan a QR code, enter in that address, and we will email you out that certificate with your golf club name on it. You can then print it, hang it in your clubhouse, share it in newsletters. And it's just a way to show that you're aware of sustainability and that you're willing to take action. So that a lot of clubs like doing that. It just creates that kind of positive attitude and that feel good factor around the facility, that we're aware of what's happening with the climate and we're ready to do everything we can. So that's there, totally free. And as I say, we can email that out as soon as you sign that pledge. That's there. If you want to skip on, thank you. As I touched on, we have our online on-course platform. Again, totally free to sign up for. There's no cost involved in this. And if you just skip to the next slide, on-course, the platform's essentially split into 2 key sections. You have your annual data section and you have your best practice section. In the annual data section, you essentially can input what your golf course is consuming on an annual basis. So how much water are you using? How much of that is from renewable sources? What's your land cover composition? How much of your golf course is managed turfgrass? How much is habitat? What type of habitat is that? What kind of community outreach projects are you doing? How much have you raised for charity? All that sort of stuff. So that's a way for you to put that into that platform and understand where you're currently at. And that will allow you to make progress and to create plans and priorities for the future of your facility. And we have thousands of golf courses using this platform. And when we have golf courses putting that data in, that's where we can then, as a foundation, represent golf to policymakers or to other external organisations. Because when we know how much water golf courses are consuming, we can then make reports and take that to government, and we're able to have that conversation with regulators and things like that. So it's really important from an individual golf facility perspective, but it's also really important for golf as a whole, so that we can understand what the actual impacts of the game are, and what, even more importantly, what benefits is the game providing. On there, we've got kind of data input points for the amount of plant and animal species on your facility. So when we have that data in a one-stop shop, we're able to understand the different benefits that golf facilities provide. When you put that data into the platform, you're then able to generate sustainability scorecards and carbon footprints. So we can take that data and then essentially provide you with a scorecard to show where you are, what your carbon footprint is, and that you can then use that again to encourage action amongst your membership, to communicate with the wider community, and then again to plan and prioritise continuous improvement. So that's what a scorecard essentially looks like. It's got all your key metrics in it. And it's an internal document, but and also an external document that you're able to share and celebrate with the people across your community and any decision makers that are interested in your golf facility. We can also do group reporting as well. So if we have management groups, that maybe there's one management group that owns 7 or 8 golf courses. If all of those golf courses put data into OnCourse, we can then generate a carbon footprint for that entire management group. So again, we're able to do this on a group basis. We also do national reporting as well. So if there's a golf federation for maybe Swiss golf or Portuguese golf, we can then take all the golf courses that have used OnCourse and then give that the country as a whole insights into what the overall water consumption is, what the overall carbon footprint is, what the overall sequestration rate is across that kind of wider entity. And that's just, again, what that footprint looks like inside, the report looks like inside. We also have our Sustainable Golf Highlights Hub. So that's essentially, again, totally free. It's a way for golf courses to share and celebrate the different projects and practices that they're doing. Again, that's really important. It's important for the golf courses to be recognised, for you to be recognised for the progress that you're making. And it's also a learning tool. So if you're looking for an idea of what you could do around water conservation, you can go into the Highlights Hub. You can filter it by priority areas. So there's a tab there on water reuse. You can click that and it will show you what golf courses around the world are doing to source water more sustainably, to use water more efficiently, and all these sorts of things. There's thousands on there. Golf courses from around the world submit highlights. So please feel free to submit your own if you're a golf facility looking to be recognised. I just pulled out some highlights again. Both Nunos have talked about the different initiatives that they're doing, but these are just some highlights of what golf courses around the world are doing to conserve water. So again, replacing your managed turf grass with native indigenous vegetation to minimise the amount of area that you need to be irrigating. If you just skip on. And then, as again has been discussed, creating on-site renewable water sources, so rainfall capture ponds to support your irrigation. That ensures that you're not drawing on public mains, and you've got a sustainable source of irrigation there, so that rainwater isn't just running off-site and going to waste. And then beyond that, again, as Nuno touched on, is really using those sensors and the precision technologies to ensure that we're managing golf water as efficiently as possible. So this golf course in South Africa managed to cut the water consumption in their greens by 45% just using soil moisture meters. So they really understand what the turfgrass really needs. They're not just irrigating because they think they have to, they're irrigating because they know they have to. So really using science and sensors to support sustainable water stewardship across golf. And then again, water reuse. So this golf course saved, I think, 240,000 litres of water by using a waste to water system. So again, if you're cleaning off the machinery, there's now systems in place where you can cleanse that water and then reuse it. So you're really creating a closed loop system there. So that's just scratching the surface, but that's just some highlights I pulled out just of what golf courses are doing around the world. So when you sign up to OnCourse, again, totally free, you get a profile page on our Sustainable Golf Leaderboard. Now that essentially has your pledge on it. If you become certified, which I'll touch on in a moment, it has your certification logo, it has your certification report, and any highlights that you've submitted appear on the bottom page. So again, this is really our system there is really it's a free, cost-effective way to publicise that you're interested in sustainability, to showcase some of the initiatives that you're doing, and you get that nice leaderboard profile page on the leaderboard. It's a bit like a social media page for sustainability. So to sign up to OnCourse, you get that page totally free as well. And then what we're conventionally known for is our certification programme. So when you input 1 year of annual data onto OnCourse and you tick off key best practices that you're doing on your site, we can then get a verifier out to you, and they will assess what you're doing on the ground at the golf facility, and we can then certify you if the verifier recommends that. Again, this is a great way to publicise what you're doing, to celebrate what you're doing. It creates a feel-good factor within the facility, and it's also great for public relations across golf if more and more facilities are certified. All our programmes are fully accredited by ISEAL, so they manage a number of eco-labels, including fair trade, like you see in chocolate bars and things. So it's a really, really credible certification programme that we run, and more golf facilities are getting involved in it. There's a small cost involved in that. I think we're around £400. I'm not sure how that transfers into euros to be certified, and then you have verifier fees. So that's really where the cost comes in. But when you think about the kind of public relations and just the benefits across your golf facility, I think it's well worth doing. And again, it just shows that golf is credible in taking action, and helps with external communications with governments and things like that. That certification is available for golf facilities, but we also do it for tournaments and developments as well. I work on the facilities programme, but we can also certify new golf courses or golf course renovations. And we also do a number of tournaments around the world. The tournaments one focuses more on outside the ropes. So that's more around kind of waste management, catering, spectator travel and things. The golf course one covers your golf course, maintenance facility and clubhouse. So we're really looking at practices across those 3 key areas. So essentially that's, again, a QR code and the link to get onto OnCourse, totally free. The platform is also full of guidance. So every section on OnCourse, it comes with guidance on how to gather the data and submit the data. It also comes with guidance on implementing best practices. So if you're looking for ideas or templates or management plans and things, they're all on OnCourse for free as well. So essentially the platform's there to support you when you're doing these initiatives to conserve water. OnCourse is there for you to help monitor your progress, celebrate your progress, and then to continue to plan for continuous improvement. So that's a QR code and the address if you want to log on to that. And I think the next slide just has if you've got any questions, feel free to email hello@sustainablegolf. My email address is robbie@sustainable.golf. And more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Robbie. I just have to say that thank you so much for the Geo Foundation in general, because as far as I'm aware, it's the only one giving certifications and advising the golf clubs in Europe and in worldwide for certification and the processes and how can we achieve these sustainability measures. So I think it's a great initiative and a great tool to have.
Thank you.
Then we're going to move on to the questions. I have here a few. What measurable impact has the Geo seen from its partners and other communities?
Yeah, so we've got a number measurable impact. So again, we work from the very top of golf all the way through. So we've seen measurable impact in terms of the kind of strategic work with global bodies. So we've worked really hard with, for example, the R&A and bodies like that to kind of integrate sustainability into their strategic operations and framework and messaging and things like that. So there's been impact there where we're able to kind of raise awareness of sustainability through their advocacy and outreach. On the ground at golf facilities, we're seeing more and more. So our standard, it has minimum criteria that are required to become certified. So when a verifier comes out to your golf course, maybe if there's one or two things that you don't have in place, the standard kind of raises sustainability across the golf industry, because golf courses are starting to implement those practices to become certified. So the certification program is driving continuous improvement across the golf industry. A lot of people see certification as being kind of opposite to regulation, but we actually see it working well with government regulation, where our standard is there to support golf facilities to kind of raise their performance and start to save water, encourage habitat and biodiversity. And a lot of people do it for, again, the marketing benefits of it. That's the main kind of selling point there, is that when you're certified, it shows what you're doing. You're able to communicate credibly with people outside the golf facility. And it just gives, as Nuno was saying in his presentation, that there's a lot of kind of, I wouldn't say false narratives, but there's a lot of public opinion around golf and water and golf and nature, and golf has kind of got a bad image in a lot of places in the world, but we lack the data to actually show that golf is having those negative impacts. So as more and more golf courses are able to gather that data and submit that data, we can then start to tell a more accurate story of what golf is doing or should be doing into the future.
I agree with you that the marketing is also very important for the golf courses to start showing that we're working towards the sustainability. What is your own perception on how actively the golf courses are sharing their participation on GEO certification or the Sustainable Golf Pledge?
So it differs a lot in different countries. Some golf courses are very active and love sharing, and that varies from place to place. And I think that's fine. Some golf courses prefer to be more private, and they like to do their own thing. Other golf courses love to do it. And I think a lot of it just comes down to who's in the golf facility. I always look at sustainability as a people problem. It's about us as individuals. So you get someone that's maybe on a committee or a golf course owner that's just really interested in it, and they'll actively do it and they'll push it. So I think a lot of it is just getting the right people into the right positions in golf facilities. And we've seen that with Costa Navarino, where Nuno and the facility as a whole are really interested in sustainability, and they're one of our kind of strongest, most engaged clubs on the programme, and they'll actively share what they're doing. They'll engage in press releases and things. So I think a lot of it is just down to people and maybe culture in certain contexts as well. But more and more clubs are getting engaged. It's the participation in on-course and the certification programme is slowly growing, just as these challenges start to bite and people recognise the need for golf to speak up more and shout about what it's doing.
Yeah, I actually agree with I think it could be a good marketing initiative also to the golf courses, because people nowadays, they demand more. And seeing this, for example, the logo of GEO-certified, and that they are working towards sustainability, could work as a marketing advantage to the golf courses. But also, if I go a little bit back to my own research, I found out that many of the golfers lack the knowledge of the GEO certification. So that's why I was asking whether the golf courses are actively promoting, because it could be good for them. And since the expectations of the public also is that the golf should be working towards sustainability, because it has been criticized in the past about our environmental footprint. So then I think it would be also maybe valuable to know regarding what are the long-term environmental and economic benefits of adopting sustainable, for example, water management practices. Maybe it has a potential higher initial costs, but what are the savings that could actually be achieved? Do you have any kind of data what the long-term economic benefits could be?
Yes, I mean, we have those when the golf courses submit their highlights to the Highlights Hub. There are a number of examples there where golf courses have actively shared how much money they've saved by doing these things. I think again in golf, and this is me drawn from my own PhD and not necessarily from GEO, but in my own research, I found that a lot of the strategies to save water, to save energy, to save carbon, they're low-cost solutions, they're nature-based solutions. And it's like Nuno was saying, where if you're reducing the amount of area that you're irrigating, that's not necessarily costing you money. It may cost money to plant different native species in those areas, but that's actually, you're reducing the amount of area you're managing, and then you're generating cost savings from not having to purchase as much money. I was also at a golf course a few years ago, and they stopped irrigating their roughs. Their rough used to be really dense, and players used to lose a lot of balls. Pace of play was really slow. They couldn't get people around the golf course in time. That limited the amount of people, the amount of green fees they could generate. But then we stopped irrigating their rough, and it turned dry and brown. But players weren't losing their ball as often. They were shooting lower scores. They were playing quicker. So there's playability benefits to this as well. And there's also, when we talk about nature, there's aesthetic benefits. I mean, me personally, I enjoy playing in a more natural golf course. I enjoy sometimes a more challenging golf course. I'd prefer something with more nature, maybe a bit tighter fairways, more kind of strange bounces and stuff. I just think that's at the heart of the game. And I think golf's got a real opportunity there to tie in sustainability with the essence of the game, the enjoyment of the game, that sort of thing as well. So I think there's benefits there in terms of actually capturing the golfer marketplace, and can we market and brand golf as something different than 100-yard wide fairways and everything's green and you're hitting wedges into greens and stopping. Like, it's target golf, and I think we need to get back to more naturalistic, that sort of golf that the game kind of emerged from. But again, that's not GEO's position, that's just my own personal thoughts on that.
You're not the only one, actually. That was my next question regarding the playability and the aesthetics of the golf course, because if we start saving water and not irrigating the roughs, the color of the turf might change, and it's not as the public is expected that it's lush and green, what requires a certain measures to achieve the golf course to look like that, and that is not environmentally beneficial. So the natural look, the original way how the golf courses were, they were more yellowish and less lush and green. But how do you think we can navigate between the tension that it's causing between the public and educating the golfers in general, that it's okay, that golf course doesn't need to be super lush and green, that it actually can look different, more natural?
Yeah, and I think that's where communications come in. And again, I think there's a need for more work. Sometimes in sustainability in golf, we get too, again, personal opinion, but we get too wrapped up in science and technology, which are really important. But there's a social, there's a cultural element that kind of underpins all that golf hasn't quite got right yet. And I think that stems from the very top, the governing bodies. What narrative of the game are they spinning? Where are we hosting golf tournaments? What kind of golf tournaments are we showing on the television? What kind of golf tournaments are the magazines promoting? But I think it also comes down to support for greenkeepers and club managers to communicate with their membership, with their guests at the golf course. And that's what we at GEO try to do through our programmes as well. We're going to start rolling out very soon on course. It's called at the moment a kind of culture kit. And that's communications to help greenkeepers. We're going to start creating templated documents that you can maybe stick up just to say, like, to engage with a golf course committee or to engage with the owner that holds the budget strings. This is why we need to do this. And even just, I've seen the benefits of just putting little signs on the golf course, just saying this is a habitat area. This is not because we're lazy. It doesn't look this way because we're lazy. It looks this way because we're trying to let nature back into the golfing experience. This area supports bees. This area supports rabbits. Whatever it may be. And I think sometimes golfers just aren't aware. They think that when you see a bunker that's not very well maintained, they'll grumble, but they're just not aware of the carbon emissions, the herbicides that go into making bunkers look the way they look. And I think if people were aware, they would buy into it, but I just don't think they're aware. And I think golf needs to do more of that communications. And it's a really low-hanging fruit because, again, it doesn't cost much. It doesn't cost a lot of money to to do these comms type stuff. So that's what we at Geo try to do. We have these nice programs and things that are there to support greenkeepers and club managers and things to make the people aware of the challenges they're facing and will face into the future. And as I say, we're kind of the caddy that are here to just help everyone move forward in that sort of area.
For sure, I could keep on talking for a long time of these topics, but unfortunately we are coming to an end of our time. And thank you so much, Robbie, for your great presentation. And I would like to give the floor to Jolina.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. There's unfortunately a bit of construction noise in my building. I hope all of you can still understand me. So, yes, so my name is Jolina, and really on behalf of my whole team, first of all, I'd really like to express my thanks to all of you for coming today and participating, and really also like putting your trust into us, and your participation was really vital. Also, like not just for this webinar, but for our whole project and working towards also this goal and the kind of aim of this. So really spreading awareness about this really important topic. And I think this webinar has really shown that unsustainable water consumption is also like a real life issue that concerns all of us and goes towards all of us. So I hope that you got inspired by this webinar and that you also maybe saw this as an opportunity for fostering some new ideas, and yeah, that you also maybe will be inspiring some others about sustainability. So as you can see on the slide, we have a short request. It would be incredibly helpful if you could fill us this really short questionnaire. It should only take 1 to 2 minutes, and it would be so helpful to our projects. And yeah, you can scan it here, and there's also a link in the meeting chat. In the end of this webinar, we would just leave out the meeting for a few more minutes if you want to share some thoughts, or if you want to maybe network with a few people from the industry. And yeah, so while you are maybe filling out this form, I would just wanted to thank a few people who participated in this webinar. So first of all, Robbie from the Geo, you have been such an amazing partner the whole time. You have been really cooperative from day one, and your participation was really vital for this webinar and the pursuit of this entire project. Then thanks to Nuno Morgadi, who joined us all the way from Greece today, and Costa Navarino has given us insights into their sustainable measures, and they've been guiding us in the right direction along the way since really the early stages of this project as well, which is so highly appreciated. So really thank you so much. And I also want to give thanks to Nuno from Synergy. You were really so cooperative and open with every step towards this webinar, and your participation was so helpful to us. So thanks a lot. Of course, also big thanks to Sarah. So the webinar really would have not been able without you. You gave us so many insights, you shared your knowledge, and you were so patient with us as well. And working with you towards this goal was so amazing. It has really shown your remarkable also dedication and passion towards this important topic. So I quickly just wanted to take this opportunity as well to thank my team members, Angela, Isaac, and Louisa, because you guys were so dedicated to this progress and towards this project, and also the development as a team. So despite the many challenges that we had to face, I believe we've really taken a significant step forward with this event. And I'm so excited to continue our journey together, not only as teammates, but also really as friends. And then last but not least, we would really like to give thanks to Ana Luisa, who has been so helpful and supportive with this entire project and the establishment, and also just you motivated us all the time to keep going forward with this initiative. And thank you so much for your patience and your support and the development of the project, and us also as a team. So we're now finally coming to an end. You will receive a follow-up email with the recordings and a summary of this webinar, and also a briefing note that we established. And this briefing note will include all the important information surrounding this topic. We would also be really happy for you to share it as well. So yeah, that's kind of it. So thank you so much for your participation and trust, and goodbye, and really like the best wishes and success in the future, and just have a nice afternoon. So thank you.